being welcoming, it's just being self-interested. I'm doing what's best for Pennsylvania. It's always been what's best for Pennsylvania. It still is. It's in our interest to be open and welcoming. So I appreciate that sentiment, because that is actually what we have to do to continue to be a strong Commonwealth, continue to be a strong country. And so I appreciate your work in trying to get that message out, try to get other people to understand this is not just a personal thing on your part. This is something that actually makes good common sense. And on behalf of all of us, keep up the fight. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate it. Yes.
As you know, this last year has seen an outgrowth of anti-Muslim prejudice as part of the election campaign. What are your thoughts on how one balances, or the society balances, the right of freedom of speech and to criticize certain religions, and the sensitivity and the violence which is sometimes drawn out of the attacks, verbal attacks on the Muslim community? How does, in a free society, how does one balance that according to your
You don't balance.
viewpoint?
You go with freedom. You don't try to compromise that. And I'm a student of American history. American history, unfortunately, is a combination of nativism and openness. And every generation of immigrant has turned around and said, let's close the door behind us, which is really stupid. But that's just the way it is. And in every generation has come back to the right answer, which is, no, you can't do that. We were open. That's how my ancestors got here. We need to remain open if we want to stay a vibrant, vital society. And you look at all the things that are happening in the United States, the extent to which we do have a struggle, no question about it. And it's got to be hard to be on the front lines of that battle, but you're fighting on the right side, and it's not just the right side for you; it's the right side for the United States, and it's been the right side since this country was founded. We didn't always get that. So when William Penn created Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on the basis of freedom of conscience, they were hanging Quakers in Massachusetts. So this is a fight that this country has always had to make, but Americans have always ultimately come down on the side of fairness and what's right, and we will again in this case. So that doesn't make it any easier to put up with what you're putting up with, but you are on the right side, and Americans up till now anyway, and I'm sure even into the future will continue. We've always gotten it right in the past. We'll get it right this time. Yes.
Thank you so much. You have been a great friend to our community, especially all the Muslims throughout Pennsylvania, and we would like to thank you for your ongoing support for the Syrian refugee crisis. Thank you so much for all the help that
Yeah, I'm just being consistent. I'm an American. I grew up in a culture that values diversity, needs to value openness and tolerance and respect. Those things have been at the heart of who we are as Americans, and we have to make sure that they continue to be at the heart of who we are. Yeah.
Two questions. You talked about being on the right side. So what's the right answer to this question? Eagles or Steelers?
The right answer is I can't hear you.
Whoever scores the more points. No, serious comment. I was with the Philadelphia E Coalition. We met with you almost a year ago. We were one of the first people that we met with. You were very open to us. You encouraged us to go ahead with that effort. And I think your encouragement and the impetus from your meeting took us to the Philadelphia City Council and Mayor Kenny, and that was granted to us. And so now the Eid holiday is an official holiday in the city of Philadelphia, and we hope that that can spread throughout the Commonwealth, and more jurisdictions will take on doing that. So it's a great message about diversity and inclusion, and so thank you so much for the encouragement.
Yeah, thank you. Again, we had an Eid celebration at the governor's residence. It was the first time that we've ever had that. I also had the first celebration of Passover at the governor's residence. So I'm trying to make sure that this is a place that is open for everybody. And I think that's the key that we all should be supporting. This is not a place for anybody, it's a place for everybody. Okay?
All right.
Want to take a photograph?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So group one or different group?
We need to share that you know the first time that you did our and you're going to say that change begins from their home, and this is our home, and you being the governor, you are the leader of this home, Pennsylvania and Harrisburg is our home. This is the first time that you hosted an Eid dinner. How about, like, if you, and I know that has to come from legislators, how about if you declare Eid as official holiday as well? So all the Muslims were going to schools and to offices, and they're missing out their major holidays. And those are just 2 days in a year that they're missing out. And by doing that, you're making your voice heard, and you're making a statement that, okay, Muslims, they're included. They're not some bad people,
Right.
and they
No.
have the right to celebrate.
Let me ask you a question. What is the best way to dedicate yourself to diversity? When I was in my company, because I wanted to have a company that everybody felt welcome: Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus. So instead of saying this holiday and that holiday, we'll take all these off, say, I'm going to give you personal days. You are free to exercise your own. I'm not sure that it's the right thing to do to actually say we're going to, as the state, the political system will recognize everybody's holiday. I know Christmas has been a traditional holiday for schools, but increasingly the spring break is not Easter anymore. It's a spring break. And most colleges and universities just take spring off. Again, in my company, because that was the tradition, you had Christmas. That was the only religious holiday we had off. The rest of it was civic holidays like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. We had Thanksgiving off, which is non-sectarian. We also then gave personal days. So that if I wanted to take Good Friday off because I'm a Christian, and I want to take Easter Monday off, I could. If somebody else wanted to take Rosh Hashanah off, they could. If someone else wanted to take Eid off, they could. So I just think we need to all think about what is the best way to promote diversity and respect for each other. Is it to actually dictate that we will politically mandate that this is a holiday, or should we say, I'm asking the question. Because I think it's a fair question to say, should the state say we're going to recognize and celebrate Eid, or should I say to you, I'm going to give you 3 personal days, and if you want to take Eid off, if your spouse wants to take Easter off, whatever, you can do whatever you want, but we need to recognize that you have a personal set of values and set of holidays, holy days that you want to recognize, and you should be free to do that, and we should respect you so that it's not my choice, it's not the legislature's choice, it's your choice, it's your personal choice. So I think we ought to think about how we do that, and say instead of this specific holiday, I want every company to give 3 personal days. So it's a question.
If we have like the leaders and the companies like you, then maybe,
But we don't always have
no,
it.
but
Well,
we
that-
don't have
no,
the leaders.
Right, but that's what I'm
saying.
that's what I'm saying. But if we're talking about legislation, should it be legislation that says specific holidays will be recognized, or should it be, here's a law, every company, every employer should say you get 3 personal days. Every employee. Should be recognized? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, this is what makes America great. We can have a conversation about this and maybe not always come out to an agreement. What we do agree on, though, is that this is a place that's open for everyone.
Some other states are.
I know. I'm just saying. I come from an academic background. I grew up in a family where my parents and the kids, we'd argue all the time. No, none of your families are like that, right? But I was taught that debate and conversation, debate and argument is a sign of love, not a sign of discord or division. So I always ask questions like this, and you may agree, may not agree. I love the idea that we can actually sit down and have a conversation, and that we can disagree with each other, and we can leave and say, but we still are attached to the same values that allow us to do that. All right, let's get it.
Multiple rows, and if you know that you're taller than most other people, go in the back row.
And this is the center right here.
One day he's having a conversation.
We are like staggered so that we have separate facial.
Yeah. So you're live there, and the whole Middle East now is watching you. So anything you want to say about the Muslim Americans, please?
This is a country. This nation is a country that's open for everybody, and the respect that we're all calling for the Muslim population in the United States. That's important to who we are as a country. We need to show that respect. And this November and every November.
Yes. Absolutely. And we need to be united again. Not divided country.
That's right.
We was with the Governor Walz in Pennsylvania, and
Please face the matter.
You tell